And I could go on and on and on about stories of people who have pursued the spiritual junk food of this world. What the world says you need in order to be happy, and yet it leaves you feeling empty inside. I'll just share one more story. It's the story of Marilyn Monroe, a woman who predates me. As a millennial, I've never seen any of her movies, and yet I see her picture, and I'm like, yeah, that's Marilyn Monroe, right? Very famous actress and model in her day. She got everything that she pursued in life, and yet it left her empty. She thought, okay, if I can just get married to that right man, have that right relationship, have the right husband, then I'll be happy. She got married 3 times, divorced 3 times. Once to the great baseball star Joe DiMaggio, divorced him, got married a 2nd time, divorced. Then she was in Hollywood, and she was like, if I can just get married to someone who's stable, who's someone who's respected, well-known, then I'll be happy. She admired this famous playwright Arthur Miller, produced many films, written many films, and so she said, if I can get married to him, he'll satisfy me. So she convinced Arthur to divorce his own wife so they could get married, and that's what they did. Did it fill her up? No. That relationship was filled with conflict, infidelity. Before they got divorced, they were actually filming in Hollywood his movie, The Misfits. He was the producer of it. He had written it, starring Marilyn. And he says on his set, according to his autobiography, that he saw Marilyn just spiral into this deep depression and paranoia. She was addicted to drugs, to barbiturates, and doctors would have to come to her bedside and shoot her up with drugs in order just to help her find some sleep at night. And Arthur says one night as he watched his wife fall asleep, he says this. He says, I found myself straining to imagine miracles. He writes, what if she were to wake and I were able to say, God loves you, darling, and she were able to believe it? How I wish I still had my religion and she hers. Yeah, he knew the answer. He knew the answer. The answer was God. The answer was Jesus, and yet neither of them embraced it. And unfortunately, a couple years later, Marilyn ended up dying of a drug overdose trying to fill that void in her heart. That void in her soul because she was trying to fill with the things of this world instead of the love of God.